This is Kansas Congresswoman Lynn Jenkins. This is my first year in Congress, and what I've seen since I arrived in Washington has been truly eye-opening. The pace that Democrats in Congress and the White House are spending your tax dollars is simply staggering. $1 trillion for the so-called stimulus bill, nearly $500 billion on an omnibus spending measure with nearly 9,000 unscrutinized earmarks, and $3.6 trillion on a budget the Democrats just passed this week, which includes trillion-dollar deficits as far as the eye can see. As a mother with 2 children, I'm concerned, like any mom would be, about the debt we're piling on future generations. I know a thing or two about handling taxpayer dollars. I was the state treasurer in Kansas for 6 years before I came to Congress. And before that, I practiced public accounting as a certified public accountant for nearly 2 decades. So trust me when I say Washington's books are a mess. Remember when the president promised strict oversight of how states and local communities are spending those critical stimulus dollars? Well, in the last few weeks, we've heard plenty about stimulus waste. Taxpayer dollars earmarked for a homeless program in a town with no homeless problem. Millions to extend an art walk in New York. And more than $1 million for sidewalks and trash cans outside a casino in Michigan. This bill was supposed to be about jobs, but it's gone off the rails in practically no time at all, and millions of your tax dollars are being wasted. It's quickly turning into a symbol of everything wrong with Washington, D.C. Unchecked spending, no accountability and oversight, and more debt piled onto our children and grandchildren. This week, we marked the president's 100th day in office. And while, like most of you, I like the president personally, I think the Democrats' first 100 days running Washington can be summed up in 3 words: spending, taxing, and borrowing. The plans they've passed in the first 100 days will add more to our nation's public debt than all previous presidents combined in 200+ years. They've taken away President Obama's promised middle-class tax cut and paved the way for a new national energy tax to be paid by every American who dares to flip on a light switch. Middle-class families and small businesses across America are tightening their belts and making sacrifices each and every day during this recession. And Republicans believe that it's time for Washington to do the same. We offered a budget that curbs spending, creates jobs by cutting taxes, and controls the debt. We've also offered proposals to help rebuild your savings, revitalize the housing market, and create twice as many jobs as the Democrat stimulus at half the cost. More than 2 million Americans have lost their jobs this year, and by all accounts, our national recession has gotten worse than expected. Americans are worried, and rightfully so. They know that we can't spend our way back to prosperity. Republicans are fighting for middle-class families and small businesses every day here in Washington. And we are ready to work in a bipartisan way on real solutions to create jobs, rebuild your savings, and get our economy moving again. Let's hope the Democrats in charge are as well. Thank you for listening.